Hi, I'm Roberto Martinez and you're watching Toffee TV.
Welcome to Toffee TV with me, Ped, Baz. We're in the Winslow. It's a good day, Baz. It's a good day. We're here to talk about Everton beating Manchester United 3-0. Something I never seen happening. Nearly literally never seen happening because they didn't get into the ground till after James McCarthy had scored. That's a warning, kids, don't drink. So, happy days from that score. Before we start on with the performance, obviously, change to the team. Lukaku comes back into the side. Leon Osman, the much criticised, the much maligned, derided Leon Osman comes into the side, gives us that little bit of balance on the left hand side that we spoke about this season. And you know, 5 minutes in, you know, we never looked back, did we? It was an all-round brilliant performance, but an all-round brilliant performance not in the typical Roberto Martinez mould, more in the mould from this game last season, the Arsenal games last season. Something we talk about this season that we should have done more and more. You don't always have to be the team that is on the front foot. Sometimes you can just be tactically better than sides and beat them.
Yeah, I mean, it was almost the carbon copy of last season, wasn't it? Particularly the Arsenal game. The United game, I think we were probably a little bit more dominant in last season's game, even though the game plan was very similar. But I was quite confident, you know, and I didn't think we'd lose. And as we got closer to the game, I fancied us to win just because we just look more confident at the moment, don't we?
Yeah.
And things have picked back up and we're defending a lot better. And so from that point of view, obviously 3-0, to beat United 3-0 is excellent anyway. I probably didn't foresee a 3-0, but you know, I did fancy us. But the couple of changes to the team, Lukaku coming back in, Osman coming back in on the left gave us the balance, like you've said. And I think from that point of view, what was really good was we just said to United, you know, we've got the two banks of four, Ross back where he's at his best, you know, let's see what you've got. And we were happy to give them the ball, but I thought we started the game ever so well. I thought we were the first couple of tackles, we looked up for it, we looked sharp and we were bright, and I think everybody fed off that. Yeah,
you mentioned a word there, sharp. It's something we spoke about more and more in the last few weeks. The team look fitter, they look stronger, and you know, only having one game a week has made a massive difference. It's annoying, isn't it? Because you know, you're seeing a settled team now. You've seen Barry getting back to his best. You just mentioned Barkley back in a position where he's affecting games. You know, you've seen John Stones having another fantastic game. You've seen the full-backs being at the best. You're seeing, obviously, you know, Jagielka's brilliant, Howard's dominant. Everyone on that pitch yesterday, obviously with the inclusion of Lennon as well, they're all playing well, you know, and it's no coincidence to me that it's because of one game a week. And what's more annoying, I think, is, you know, a lot of people can come out and say the Europa League, has it hurt our season? I think it has hurt our season, but a lot of people talk about the fatigue and talk about the fact that it's a distraction and players are getting injured, but it's the flip side of that. It's for me, it's because I think there was times where Roberto Martinez just didn't know when to change or who to change or when it was best to change. I mean, a good example for me was when we played Wolfsburg. You know, there's an example of going to Wolfsburg, playing really well on the Thursday away, coming back and you think, leave the team alone for the most part. You don't need to you know, bring Leighton Baines back. Gareth Barry doesn't need to come back into the side. And it was them changes more than anything else that I think has hurt us this season. An over-reliance on too many players to their detriment when other players should have been allowed to come into the side. I think that's where he got it wrong. Not the other side where players have been tired because of the Europa League. You know, it's just knowing when to change players.
Yeah, I think I was shaking my head when you were saying the one game a week thing, because I just think it's too much of an easy excuse to say.
Yeah.
However, obviously you just qualified it by kind of buying into what my belief as well is that he changed things. And I bang on about the Crystal Palace game at home, because that, to me, 4 weeks into a season, nobody needs a rest. Nobody, you know, and he changed the side that day and we lost. And He done it at Spurs, like you said. I remember Luke Garber being absolutely marvellous over in Wolfsburg. We win a game. He obviously had to change the team because McCarthy never should have played in Wolfsburg.
That's another one.
But you know, but you're right, he made changes when he didn't need to. He put Gareth Barry back in at Tottenham when he wasn't fit. The lad couldn't. Yeah, he trained one day, I think, and had an injection to play, and he never really recovered from that for about 8 weeks, 9 weeks. So it's been that. I mean, you know, well, I heard a stat the other day that I think Jose Mourinho's played the same 8 players from August to March, and it's only now that he's kind of he's built up that big lead in the Premier League, and it's not stumble over the line, but it's managed them now for these last few weeks. David Moyes, you know, we were at our probably our best under David Moyes when he used 13 or 14 players, and he just believed in a core 14, and that's why we had the likes of Velios who didn't play very much on the bench, you know, and people like that who were there literally just to make the numbers up. Shane Duffy was another one, didn't really get a chance, but had quite a lot of games on the bench. So I think the problem with, it's great having these tournaments, and I want us to be in Europe, but the problem is when managers get this thing into their mind that they need to have a squad of 25 and they need to be rotated and the players need to be rested. But then it kind of is very contradictory when the likes of Gareth Barry, who's probably getting on to about 80 years of age now or something, is playing every single minute of every single game.
But he's looked great since we've gone one game a week. It's almost like going out to Europe has allowed certain players to get their breath back between games and only concentrate on that one game and know the job. Whereas when we were in Europe and those players were getting played all the time, there was no way those players could recuperate it. Do you know what I mean? It's almost like, it's like, I know we're almost contradicting ourselves a little bit here, but there's certain players in the team that should have only played certain amount of games, and there's other players in the team who should have been left in the side to play as many games as they can. And I think it was getting that right, and that's what he didn't do. He got it completely the flip side wrong. He left Barry in all the time, and the running joke was every week was it in Barry's contract.
Yeah, but that's okay if you're doing that with most of your team.
Yeah,
if he'd have said from August when we kicked off, right, the Leicester game, this core 9 are my best team, okay? And at times we're going to have to rotate because of injury, but while everyone's available and fit, them core 9 play core 10. We done it. We were very good last year, okay, 1 game a week and everything else. But last year he only really altered the right-hand side. It was Delafeu or McGeady had done a little stint out there. People like that, Morales would go out or he'd go left. Pienaar played out there sometimes. And it worked very, very, really, really well for us. And I think coming into this season, if he'd have carried that through and said, right, these are going to be my core team until injuries dictate. And injuries have dictated things. We lost John Stones, in October. And it was a massive, you've seen a different Stones as mate since he's come back. He's unreal. We lost him. People like Jagielka have been out injured, Coleman, Baines has been. So I think we've had every player injured at some stage. The keeper's been out, and whatever you think about him, he's playing well again now. So it is a bit contradictory saying keep the same team and then rest the likes of Gareth Barry, but you do it as a one. You don't go James McCarthy or Kevin Morales needs a rest and Stephen Naismith, but Gareth Barry doesn't. They either all need the rest or they don't. And I just believe the early part of the season when you're looking to bed down, you keep that core team as much as you can.
I mean, if you think about it, there was weeks where we were playing on the Sunday or playing on the Thursday and playing on whatever, and it was like 4 changes every game. It was like there was someone new on the left every week. There was someone new on the right every week. There was a different formation of the centre midfielders all the time. There was a different 3. Naismith was playing a lot of games, and weird coincidence he's gone out the side and we're winning. The back 4 is now rigid, but
But if we'd have done that from day one, and I know, look, we lost Barkley on the eve of the season. Lukaku had an injury, although people said he didn't, but then he did. Anyway, and now all of that kind of contributed. I've done a piece for our site about the perfect storm just after Christmas where everything went wrong. It did, but as well as that, we helped it. The manager contributed to it by making those 4 changes. You need to do that in some games. If you've had a grueling game on a Thursday, you may need to change 3 or 4 due to injury.
But it always felt like at times though it was happening for the sake of it.
Just for the sake of it, of course.
For the sake of it, and you just that thing about Mourinho is absolutely right. Mourinho knows how to manage an entire season, you know, and that's what I think. What's good is though, Martinez is. Listen, it's not going to be a good season, and anyone who says it is a good season just because we're finishing well, you know, has to have a good think about it. It's not a good season, but if anything, then Martinez has now experienced sort of, as you just mentioned, the perfect storm. He's learned, he will have learned, hopefully, how to deal with that next time, and hopefully that next time comes quite quick. We have a good run next year.
And we're back in.
And we're back in it, and he'll know when to do, and hopefully as well he'll have, you know, younger squad, maybe more options.
We're saying hopefully he'll learn, but we went to Kiev on another case in point when he didn't have to change. We had best 11 and didn't play. Played.
Well, again,
played.
That's what annoys.
You know,
that's what annoys me more than anything else is that I
haven't got so far.
That sentiment got through that night as well with Alcaraz. Everyone, I had a great game against Newcastle, which I didn't really think he did, but everyone sort of got carried away with the fact that we'd won 3-0. And
I think, look, you know, we have gone off a little bit, but I think the reason for me, one of the biggest things I've taken from the last few weeks is we've just gone back to defending, and it's brilliant to see. And it, you know, earlier in the season we played 45 passes along the back, even when we were under pressure, and it cost us so many goals. At the weekend we're playing United, who can hurt you. Yeah. Ball's bouncing in the box, and Jags is just giving it to Peter Kay. Yeah. Have it with the orange, just wellying it as high as it'll go. And it's fantastic because, look, you play football. There's nothing worse when you're chasing the goal and the centre half's whacking it 70 yards down the pitch and you have to start again. And they feel it. The crowd love it, and it's how you defend.
Well, it's something we've been talking about all season. It's a merging of styles. It is going back to what we did last season. At some point, God knows when it's happened, but Roberto Martinez maybe looked at the situation and gone, actually, you know, before Newcastle game, after the Stoke game, I've never felt so low. I thought we were going. I honestly felt like we were going. No, but that night we were so bad. We were so bad, and there were so many problems.
There was 10 games to go. I did say we would win for at least 5 of them because the fixtures were very favourable. But you're right, that night you couldn't see us winning a raffle. It wasn't
even the fact that our fixes. I looked at that game that night and I just thought, has this man got the ability to change his style? Is he so adamant that he wants Everton to play this way? You know, we've got no problem with wanting to play that style. We'd love to see that style, but what we've said pretty much all season is we don't have the players necessarily in all the positions. You know, and I think that's maybe where there's been, you know, people have fell out with him. Maybe that's why, you know, Distan isn't happy, and that's why he hasn't been happy with Distan. Because I think, you know, fair play to Distan. I think, you know, he did realise quite early on this season that he wasn't up to playing that kind of football anymore, and it needed to be simplified. And it's just funny because since that Stoke game, it has become a lot more simplified when it was so desperately needed.
I think what's happened this season, and I think he will learn from it. Obviously, the falling out with Distan, you know, with Swansea, everyone knows about now. Got the wheels rocking on the thing. Samuel Eto'o came in and didn't exactly want to stabilise things, you know, with certain things that went on there. And we got rid of Eto'o. He was chased. Distan has fallen away from it. But that Stoke game, I think everybody probably sat down after that and thought, we're in, like we did, you know, we are in trouble here. And what we need to do is go back to what we do best. We've got some good defenders, defend. You know, Newcastle at home was probably the perfect game. We were coming home against a team that would come and attack us because that's the wide open Newcastle, aren't they? And I think just that win, defending the way we did, give us that confidence. We want to see, there's nothing wrong with the philosophy of possession. There's nothing wrong with it. It's fantastic, in fact, if you get it right. But there's nothing wrong with defending either. Play it out from the back when you want to and encourage you to do that because it's very good. But when you're under the cosh, defend. I mean, we almost got caught straight after we scored, playing it out from the back, Gareth Barry.
We've come full circle now, we've come back to this game, and that's what I really enjoyed about this game, it wasn't, we didn't have to sit there and go, well, we're going to force our way on you. We've worked you out tactically and we're going to set up a plan to beat you. Because, you know, a lot of people, I've watched the Man United reaction videos and things like that, Full-Time Devils, you know, stuff we did with them last week, and I've watched their reaction videos, and people, the question they're saying is, well, how did Everton beat us? I still don't know. They had 62% of the, you know, Man United had 62% of the possession, so the Man United fans are thinking, how have we been beaten today? And they were beaten because Roberto Martinez tactically set up a way and just went, right, what we're going to do is, we're going to, when they get the ball, we're going to put a lot of pressure on it, we're going to win it back, and then we're going to go on the break. And it worked. And that is just as good and just as satisfying as having 60% possession yourself. It's better at times. If you feel like you've pinched a win at times, which sometimes feels better. But it wasn't, because every single player had to work their heart out yesterday. If there'd been any gaps, any chinks in the armour yesterday, that would have all fell down. You know, a little domino effect. You know, you just mentioned there that when Fellaini took the ball off Barry, that's a perfect indication that if you get it wrong a split second, you're letting them in. So everyone had to work yesterday. Have to work the backsides off to get us that victory, and that's just as satisfying, if not more satisfying, than winning a game where you've had 60% possession and it's, you know, flowing football and the rest of it. To see players go out there and dig in, but then score quality goals as well, and goals that fit into the tactical style. I mean, the first goal, you know, it's them on the attack, but yet we break, and we broke with so much speed. And to watch McCarthy, something I've said for over a year now, which he could do, is get in front of the striker, and he done it. And do you know what he reminded me of? Gary Speed, yesterday scoring that goal. Just getting in front of the striker, running past the striker. And I've said he could do for a while. I'm so happy to starting to see it happen in the game now.
Couldn't do it a fortnight ago at Swansea when we needed them.
Well, you know.
Look, I look at McCarthy, and I've said it all along, that he reminds me of Roy Keane. And that goal yesterday was like Roy Keane. That was what Roy Keane made his living on. He'd knock it and get it back, and he was in and the keeper needs to score. And James has got that, but he just doesn't show it enough. But he's got to start showing it.
But is it showing it, or is it not being allowed to do it because of where he's been playing? Because I feel like in the last couple of weeks, Roberto Martinez has changed his position just slightly to just allow him to go forward.
I don't think I'd give the manager that much credit, to be honest with you, in terms of that. I think players do what they want to do. I don't think when you're playing football, you don't run up the pitch and go, well, my manager doesn't want me this far forward. All them things you see with the assistant managers. Players do what they do, don't they? Players do what they do. If them tactic boards worked, John Carver would be Newcastle win the league.
Yeah, but you haven't seen what's on his tactics board. They're all pictures of pies and horses.
Well, fair enough. Then there you go. Brendan Rodgers has just got teeth and blonde women and everything on his, but
garlands,
yeah. Back to the game. Now, I've been quite not critical of James McCarthy, but he's not been good for a few weeks for me. He's run around, but he's not been what he was last year. But this game was everything that's good about James McCarthy. Right from the off, he was fabulous. He got in people's faces, he won tackles, and that goal was sheer desire to get through, and it was fantastic. You know, it was a good little interchange. You know, Ross broke it up and we broke quickly, and when the ball breaks to McCarthy, he just carries on. It was like Suarez used to do it, where he'd knock it against people, continue that run, and it was a great finish, and it gave us the perfect start, what we needed, and it gave us something, I won't say to hang on to, but it gave us a belief that, yeah, you know, we can do these again, and it makes them stand back. And I know what you're saying about the percentages, and United fans might be scratching their head saying, how did they lose the game? But that, for me, is quite disrespectful to Everton, because I'd seen a lot of their stuff because of your video of, it's going to be easy, Everton mid-table. Everton are a very good side. In fact, there's nothing between the two sides. They've just been better than we have this season.
Goalkeeper early on the season, we've said that so many times.
You know, and that was what it was. We had one throwing them in the net, they had one keeping them out the net. Other than that, we proved it yesterday. They might have some big name players, but, you know, Falcao, you know, them kind of players, Di Maria, the quality at times, but it's the Premier League and Everton are a very good side, so it's okay having 60% possession. Look, it's happened to us all season. We've won the possession in most of our games. We got done 4-0 at Anfield last year with 64% possession, more shots, more corners. But I come out that night thinking, yeah, well, we deserve to get a hammering. So they've come out the ground thinking, how have we lost that game? I think they need to start watching football a little bit more, because for me, the United are a good side, but they didn't.
No, I thought they were. I thought it was very much like last season. They huffed and puffed and had a lot of neat passing, but when it could actually come to the crunch, they just couldn't break down, couldn't get past, you know, our defence and got on past our midfield.
I was really impressed with Herrera. I thought Herrera, his passing was fantastic.
I wasn't impressed by Paddy McNair.
You know what? He started the game quite well. He's good in possession, isn't he? He's good on the ball, but he's got to learn. I think he's got to learn how to defend.
He looked so nervous.
But he had Smalling alongside him.
Yes,
I think he had someone decent alongside
him. You're right. And he had Luke Shaw at left back as well.
And we said, look, we took some stick for a video we done for Full Time Devils in October talking about Luke Shaw. He's still garbage. He was garbage then, and he's still garbage today.
He might be a bit thinner now, though.
He's lost a little bit thinner, weight, but he's still absolutely pants at 30 odd million. He might be good in 5 years, but at the moment, he's got a lot to learn. He just runs. He's got nothing else really. But I thought United were quite good in possession. You know, I think the problem with them was in the final third. I think they knocked it round quite well, but I think you've got with Fellaini is he's obviously the target man, but Rooney likes to drop deep, and when he drops deep, if Fellaini's not winning a header, there's an over-reliance almost on him, but I don't know how they fix it with the forward plays they've got.
I think the other thing about it is, and again it reminds something more of us, is they didn't play with pace, so it was very easy for us to get men behind the ball, but you know, if you think of if they had someone like Di Maria on the pitch or someone like that and they use them in the right well, they're going to play fast. And that's what it felt like. They were just too slow in possession. And I just thought we could easily regroup when we needed to. But yet when we went on the break, we looked full of pace. And they didn't really have that anchor in midfield either. They didn't have someone who just sat in front of the back four. So every time we broke, it was almost like we were breaking against their back four, and it allowed a lot of space for the likes of Lukaku. Ross Barkley was moving the ball really well. Obviously, you've got Lennon as an outlet as well, and Seamus Coleman. So I just thought we were fine from that point of view. We always had an out ball as well, which was nice. No, and it was. I'd say what else was really nice to see was the score from a set piece, from a corner, centre half coming in and smashing one in. Love to see goals like Duncan Ferguson loves to see goals like that. That's clear as well. What was interesting about it is that run John Stones made for the goal was the same run he made when we played against Southampton. He made the same run, and on that day it sort of bounced off his shoulder and then it fell out to Barry, who put it back in for Jags to knock in. So that means one thing, kids: we're working on set pieces. We must be.
I'll raise your Kiev.
There you go.
Jagielka, exact same goal.
There you go. We're working, and it works.
He watches.
Bobby.
He watches Toffee TV.
Bobby.
He watches it, mate.
It's all
I'm telling you.
into place.
He watches it. He's done the clearing the lines. He's put two up front. He's now worked on set pieces.
Put us in the team.
Yeah, get us. No, we don't want in the team.
Sit on the bench.
Get us some
No, it made the same run. And he got his just rewards. And do you know what? It's mad. John Stones was quickly becoming quite high up on the mark of players who played in the Premier League or have scored a goal. And I know it doesn't feel that way, but he was getting close to it. And what this showed was that...
Hang on, Hibbert.
No, Hibbert's like over the
galaxy.
He's over there somewhere. He's gone over the hill.
He's just there with his big carp, giving it that, and you know,
big carp, fishing rod, wages. He loves it.
Right. And that Premier League all-time never scoring a goal medal. Trophy that he's
and got. The chair from the Greek team he played against when he scored, whoever he swapped it with for his testimonial, the goalie probably. So it was lovely to see that goal. It was absolutely so nice to see a goal. And I love a headed goal. I love a quality headed goal. And to see one like that, just, you know, beautiful. You just can't beat that kind of goal. And that just give us that little bit of platform and kicked the stuffing out of them, and going in half-time 2-0 up. And yes, there was a little bit of feeling, thinking, we've been here before, we've been 2-0 up against Manchester United, Manny Fernandez and all that.
Almost 8 years to the day as well.
Yeah, we know. And then you've seen the goalie warming up as well. I'm thinking, you know, the goalie's warm. We've got an injury to our goalie. I'm thinking, you know.
Were you worried about Howard going off?
I wasn't worried, but I just remember that day, the goalie cost us. And there was a game against Manchester United when Cantona scored, when we were getting beat 1-0. And I remember we were on the ascendancy, and Gerrard let one go over his head and I just thought there's gonna be a goalkeeper, and it's all.
Did you?
No, I didn't. I'm just feeling the panic for everyone else.
Just the negative.
No, we got to 2-0, and do you know what? It's not nice to say this, but because yesterday we weren't going for sort of top 4, and there wasn't much riding on it. There wasn't that feeling of like
fear.
Panic and fear that we were going to lose it. Do you know what I mean? There wasn't
also the thing that if they'd have won, doesn't help Liverpool, is that?
No, do you know what? That never really come into it. There was just no sort of.
No,
I never felt. It's not a nice thing to say because pressure's what.
No, but I feel it because I want us to win every game.
Yeah.
I think we've been that bad this season. I said to you a few weeks ago, we owe. You know, when we'd won a couple of games and people saying that's it, it's done now. You know, let's not. It doesn't matter whether we win games. It does matter.
Well, it does, but
it does because we're now beginning to look. Yeah. I'm looking above us going, I'm gone. Stoke are miles ahead the other week. They're 3 points ahead of us. You know, Swansea is 6, but got 4 games left. You never know. We're up to 10th. You know, West Ham, be great to finish. You know, they all of a sudden think that they can come and take our manager and our wingers and stuff. So it'd be nice to finish above them. And it's about looking up now. It's important. It's Manchester United.
No, it's a big,
going for something.
It's a big boost. It's a big boost. Winning.
Don't forget, right? If we finish the season on a little bit of a high, then any negotiations we go into in the summer, players will look and go, okay, they were rubbish, you know, early on the season, but they finished strongly. They finished in the top 10. You know, maybe it is a little bit of a blip. Maybe they did just have a bit of a blip, and that helps. You know, I've seen people say they want us to finish poorly, so that the pressure's put on the board.
By finishing strong, one thing that it shows me, and finishing the way we're playing, says to me that he has woke up and smelled the coffee a little bit. He did sort of take stock of the situation, and
he likes his coffee.
And loves a cappuccino. I want to see us move on the way we're playing now. And this is the style we need to play. It's got everything about it. It's got all the elements that, for me, are very much key Everton elements. It's got everything in there. So that's fantastic. Wrapping up the game, second half.
First, you never let me talk about John Stones' head. I've waited for ages to talk about a headed goal. All I would say is, for once, we looked quite dangerous on corners, and we had the 3 in succession. And we were getting closer each time, and they were panicking a little bit, you know, and to see him make a great run, lovely header, end up in the back of the net, you know, it just gives you that extra string to your bow. And you start thinking, well, all right, we get a goal out of the blue like that, you know, we can build on that. Teams then get nervous about us scoring corners, and when we're cheering when someone gets a corner, it actually means something. Instead of normally
we came on second half, again, I thought for the first 10-15 minutes, we didn't look nervy, but, you know, Man United had a lot of the ball. They had a couple of half-decent chances.
It was just a one chance really, but Rooney Howard made an excellent save, didn't he? And other than that. And
then he obviously thought, right, bring Morales on and try and pick them off, and it worked perfectly. Brosh, I don't even know what it was. He just floated this ball over the top. Lukaku was clearly offside, but do you know what? Fair play to Morales. Morales was in our half when that ball was played. And they all stopped, and he was the only one alive to what was actually going on. Kept going, bombed through one-on-one, and Kevin Morales, when he gets one-on-one, I always fancy him. Even against the top keeper, he always gives it the eyes, he always a little shuffle into the corner. It was a fantastic finish.
Give it the eyes against Begovic on Boxing Day, and I haven't forgiven for that either.
But he's only quite
good. He is good. I think it's a rubbish rule. It's a rubbish rule. It was offside. Morales wasn't, but I'm sorry, but I'm not. It was a great bit of play by Morales and a great goal, but it's a rubbish rule.
It is
offside. He's miles offside. The flag should have gone up.
It's a strange one because is he interfering? Is he not interfering?
But Lukaku was actually done brilliantly because very quickly he realised I'm off and we just walked away as if I'm not interested. But how pathetic is the rule at the minute? Morales touches it, he's live again.
It is mad. Well, if he passed it, listen, if he passed it to Lukaku and Lukaku had side-footed, then I'd be going, do you know what? Because I've seen a few of them and I've moaned about them. Where I don't like that. That is a bad rule.
It's a FIFA goal.
I don't like that rule, but
FIFA goal
for the fact where Morales was actually in his own half, it just shows to me that, you know, he was alive to it.
It's, look, from our point of view, it's magnificent, but I'm just saying it's a rubbish rule.
It's a strange rule. I don't mind that rule, but as you just said, if Lukaku knocked it in, I hate that rule.
But if you're a defender and you've played there, and someone runs behind you, I run behind you and then look disinterested. How do you know that? I'll use Steve and I'll use Willy Wonka over there. How do you know that he's coming on the blind side to you? Because you're looking at me. So as a defender, you're trying to, all you can go by is marking who's alongside
well, that's
you.
why I think the second one's not good, but I think defenders now should know. He run from his own half.
Well, he'll have to. Hey, from our point of view, it was magnificent.
He run from his own half.
It was magnificent.
A great finish. And
I just wish his other one had gone in a couple of minutes later.
Oh, that was magnificent.
What a save.
It's a weird, it's a, you know, without talking too much about it, this Morales thing's just a whole weird situation, is it? 2 goals in 2 weeks, comes on again after the game saying, I'm happy here, I'm happy here, I'm happy. Well, if you're happy here, if you're happy here, listen, if you're happy here, pen to paper,
he might be looking.
That's happiness.
He might just think, you know what, I'll do another 12 months, won't sign anything. Do another 12 months and I'll get a big paid. I don't know, I mean, who knows? People asking on Twitter if I've heard nothing other than he hasn't signed. The same as Garbutt.
Love is loyalty, that's what love is, so, you know, but...
hey, look, fingers crossed he signs a new contract.
Talking about loyalty very, very quickly, it's not something I want to stress on too much yesterday, but big deal was made out yesterday about the stickers that were on the seats about renewing your season tickets, right? Well, number one, right, personally, and I think Baz feels the same, we think that's an appalling piece of PR, basically, an appalling piece of PR by the club. I mean, it's my 3rd instalment this week for my season ticket. So I renewed ages ago, but that's basically because I'm a tight ass and I pay via 10 months and I need all them 10 months basically, because we don't get paid for this. But I just think it's appalling. It's just rubbish. And you know the worst thing about it is, right? Knowing Evertonians the way I know Evertonians is, Everton made this public on Saturday. When Evertonians are all sitting there on Twitter because they've got nothing else to do, and of course it was gonna cause a reaction, because if the Blues had nothing else to do on Saturday, we're all creatures of habit. We were all sitting there on Twitter, and it's like it just goes off. Do you know what I mean? And that to me is just pure stupidity that they even put it out there on Saturday, not knowing their own fan base. But the point itself. Number one, if you're a fan and you're on the bones of your arse, like a lot of fans are who support Everton, you know, you go home and away maybe and you spend a lot of money on this club, you don't need a sticker on your seat to tell you when you're to renew. You might be working very hard and there might be a couple of people out there who are and ahhing, can I afford it, can I not afford it? You know, we live in the era of food banks, for God's sake. You know what I mean? And you don't need a sticker, and that sticker could be the thing that pushes you over the edge and goes, you know what? I don't need this. I don't need this. I love my club, but I don't need them telling me if I'm gonna renew or not. And do you know all you need to know whether you're gonna renew or not is the final whistle yesterday. That's the thing, isn't it? If you win games and you win boss games and you love it, you're just gonna go, I'm renewing. That's it. I'm renewing. Whether I was doing or not, and this has convinced me. That's all it takes, doesn't it? It doesn't take a bloody sticker on your chair. My sister had one on hers and she'd already renewed.
But they did say, oh, look, I've got nothing really to add other than I think it's ridiculous for a club that calls itself the People's Club. It's really badly advised. I don't know who's making the decisions. I think, been thinking about it all day because I knew obviously we were going to touch on it, and I think there's not a case for it about people renewing. I think it's out of order. I think you know if you're going to renew, you know if you've renewed, and you know if you're not going to renew. Obviously, it's down to personal choice. The club shouldn't be putting anything on anybody. I think the sticker idea might be a cracking idea. I mean, I've worked at the ticket office and know about season tickets and swapping tickets and all what's available. Might be a good idea in the summer when people are looking for new seats and they're all available.
Yeah.
That's fantastic, but not when people are still sitting in them and there's games to play. And like you've just said, you know, I mean, I work in a field that involves me going to the food bank to get food for families who haven't got any food.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So people who go to the match, spend all of the money going to the match, might not be able to get the money together until the very last day, whether that means that they pay £100 more because they can't afford to. The season's still going on. And it still makes me, it doesn't make me cringe, but it still makes me think it's unreal that you're paying for next season and this season's not finished. And I mean, look, that's for another day, but in terms of a PR stunt, it's a massive own goal for me. That's just...
And that's what's more annoying, that it's just a really, really bad PR stunt. And do you know what? If you're going to whack something on my chair, a sticker, why don't you whack a sticker for like the new kit or something clever, or you know what I mean?
Can we whack a sticker on the board about investments?
Well, there's so many stickers we can...
No, but what I'm saying is if we're going to start naming and shaming, look, that's what it is. No, I'll just have it. You don't have to agree or disagree. If we're going to start naming and shaming in terms of who's put money into the club, there's a lot of lads sat in the Gladys Street and the Park End and the Bullens and the main stand and the top balcony who are putting their last penny into this club every single year. So let's throw some on those nice plush seats.
And I'll go up one with that. My Sky bill's just gone up £4.50 a month. Right, might not sound... Might not sound...
My Virgin one went up 20 quid.
Well, there you go. And that's us paying twice. That's us paying twice to watch footy. So
look, if you're going to put stickers on, let's do it for everyone. Let's bounce them on. So when the next home game, I want to bounce up to the director's box and I want to see investments, 50 million for transfers, new state. Let's see it all because, look, we can all do it.
And do you know what? No, the stupid thing about it is, right, I don't know about you, but I'm signed up to this club in so many ways that these know the ins and outs of it.
You signed up anyway.
No, what I mean is these know the ins and outs of what I have for breakfast. That's basic. Do you know what I mean? They've got my email, they've got my phone number, they've got my address. I still get renewal letters for my cousin that I used to get buy for a season ticket, and he hasn't gone for over 10 years, and I still get letters for him. So you don't need to tell me via a sticker whether I've signed up. You've told me already 7 or 8 different ways. You know, I got an email straight after the game yesterday saying, celebrate Everton's win by going to the club shop and buying a
DVD.
Buying a new... I think we're past those days.
I hope so.
The Reds might bring a book out though.
Hang on a sec. I would have said we were past those days till stickers came into it. But anyway, look.
You know what I mean? No, like they're getting an email as quick as a flash telling me that there's a kit that I can go and buy, even though there's a new kit coming out next year. You know, it's half price, whatever it is. I'm getting those. People don't need stickers on the seats to tell them whether to renew or... And what was worse is I seen pictures yesterday with rows and rows and rows of...
yeah, but look, people... No one knows what the circumstances are. People losing the job. Look, there'll be people there who go to every single game who don't have a season ticket, but they go to every game because they might not know until the week before whether they're working. I've got situations with my work where some games I'm racing, you know, another game you're thinking, am I going to be able to go because I'm in work? There'll be lads like that up and down who spend far more than it costs to have a season ticket. Yeah. Far more, because if you buy them game by game, it costs you well more, you know what I mean? But they haven't got that money there. I just think it was a mistake to bounce them on. There'll be a reason behind it, I think.
Listen, there'll be a dead clever PR reason.
It's, for me, it was an own goal.
There'll be a dead clever PR reason, and do you know what? It might even benefit the club in some, you know, way. You know, the response might be, well, actually, but, and I always say this, and people look at you like you're mental, morally, that's the word that's not used that much with football anymore. It's wrong. Morally, it's wrong. Simple as that.
Look, you know,
it's a name and shame exercise.
It is what it is, but hopefully that'll be the one and only time it ever happens, and they'll learn from it. And that's all you can hope, isn't it? It was people
hopefully
aren't happy with it, but we won the game.
Yeah, listen,
and one thing we have to say, look, you know, obviously Sir Philip Carter passed away and all that, and he's a very important part of Everton's history.
Didn't sack Howard Kendall.
No,
in the
successful
80s.
chairman and all that. So rest in peace, Philip.
Moving on to something that come up last week in the talking about this game was Phil Jagielka throwing a little grenade in there, wasn't he, old Phil?
It's the third time he's done it.
Maybe he obviously knows something that we don't. He obviously knows something is basically, he put it out there that Wayne Rooney would love to come back to Everton, but what he was saying as well was he wants to come back at his peak. He doesn't want to come back, in the final days of his career. He wants to come back sooner rather than later. If he wants to come back into the summer. Now, obviously we put this out and we'll get all your opinions on it. We put it out on Twitter at ToffeeTV1, hashtag Toffee tweets. But, first of all, Baz, I mean, what's your feeling on this? Because you've seen him there against us. He doesn't look very motivated when he plays against us, does he, anymore? When he first come back, it was all hellfire and brimstone. He was getting all the abuse and he was trying to give it back. Sometimes it worked. Sometimes it got a little bit too much for him and it went to his head and he got so angry that he had a really poor game. To me now, he just looks like, because there isn't that hatred there anymore, he can't get himself up for playing against Everton. It's his club and he just can't seem to get motivated for it.
Yeah, not nearly to add, mate. You've just kind of done it. I think early on, obviously we were hurt that, we'd had this Evertonian through, a striker, what we'd all wanted, and he was marvellous. I mean, you just look at, I love Ross, and Ross has got loads and loads of ability, but just think of where Wayne was at 16. He knew what pass to play, the maturity was there, he was so intelligent. Yeah. And he performed week in, week out. Where Ross is, he's a bit behind him when you're just talking about prodigies. But look, at first we were devastated he went, and he come back and he got a lot of stick, and he reacted like any 18-year-old kid would. Go down the road and see the lads hanging around, they say something to him, they give you the chase. And that's what he done. We wasn't happy, we weren't happy. But as people have eventually and gladly and happily moved on from it, he's had less and less and less of an effect when he plays against us.
We've grown up as he's grown up. Yeah. Basically.
Well, there was grown men. Yeah. With veins bulging when he was 18, But I think it is a problem for him now, because I think it is his club. And people can say, no, he's only interested in this, that. He's an Evertonian, end of story. Speak to anybody who knows him, any players in the media, who are in the media or whatever, will all tell you, first thing he's interested in when the game's finished is how Everton have got on.
And the other thing about it is, as well, is I don't think he's fulfilled his potential at Manchester United. I know he's won everything. I know he's won European Cups and he's won Premier Leagues and
Champions League finals.
He's never won an FA Cup, has he? No. He's pretty much won everything.
So he could come to here to complete the.
There you go. That would be. That would be it. And the Europa League as well.
The year after.
Yeah, he could win both of them. But I don't think he's fulfilled his potential. When we seen him as a 16-year-old, he had this raw, absolute, undiluted, he had everything about him, and he looked like the player that was going to become he's like a Messi kind of player. He had the arrogance, he had everything he needed to be that kind of player. And I think as he went more and more at United, as he stayed longer and longer, they were playing him on the left, they were playing him on the right, and there was that time when Ronaldo was coming through, and Ronaldo was nowhere near as good as Wayne Rooney, but eventually overtook him and eventually become the main man at Manchester United. And he was never moved out of position, he was never changed, he was, he didn't fill gaps, he didn't play left, right, centre midfield, whatever, but Wayne did, and I think that was to Wayne's detriment, and he never fulfilled it. And maybe there's a little bit of something within himself as why he never fulfilled it as well, because you look at Ronaldo and you see physically how a specimen that he's become, and Wayne maybe never quite had that dedication, I don't know, to fully go that extra bit. I think that's an English thing rather than just Wayne Rooney. Yeah. But I'd love to see him come back here. I would love to see him. And one of the reasons I'd love to see him as well is I think he's a top name in the game. And if you could attract a top name here, all those other things that come with it, you know, the attention, the press attention, and the things that follow that are financial rewards, better sponsorship deals, you know, more attention around the world, you know.
I think the question is, would I have him back? 100%. Not even an issue for me. I know his representatives met with Everton last summer before he signed that, when Moyes was there, before he signed that big deal. Not last summer, gone the one before. And he was interested in coming back, you know, but then there was other money on the table. Paris Saint-Germain allegedly offered him $500,000 a week or something like that. For whatever reason, he chose to stay. Like, you know, I don't think Everton could have got anywhere near the package the likes of United were offering. And so I suppose it did come down to money for him there, but he's got all the money he needs now. Yeah. You know, sponsorships alone will make him X amount of pounds.
Plus, this is probably his peak contract as well, I'd say.
Yeah, and it's going to be.
You know, because he's got was it another 3 years left on this, is he, or 2 years?
It's 2 years left now.
So he's probably got 2 years. So this would probably be his peak contract. You would expect. I don't think Man United, once he got over 30, would be prepared to pay anything near that again. Maybe all the clubs would, but I don't think Man United.
I think the thing is, okay, he's 30 in October, isn't he? So he's 29 now. Okay, he didn't look fantastic against us, but he's got so much ability and natural ability. And I think if you played him up front, he'd get you 20 goals, no problem, every single season. I think if he came back to Everton, he'd have the desire, he'd have the hunger to still want to do it. It's his club, regardless. You know, when he pulled the blue shirt on, I think it'd take him up.
And as you just said, he probably still has. He's got little things that he wants to do in the game, and you know, he's still got to win an FA Cup and things like that. And why not do it with Everton? I mean, don't forget, it was only a few years ago that he was actually at Wembley with us, you know, as a supporter. So
he's being back. Look, people will go all precious about it and go, don't want him back, and he walked out on us and all that. Football is about forgiveness in some respects. You see some players who you hate, and then they come to your club, and you know, I remember a couple of my mates despising Paul Ince when he was at Manchester United, and then the next minute he signed for Liverpool and he was the governor and all of that rubbish that goes along with it, you know. And I think the thing with Wayne Rooney is any Evertonian not wanting him, and that's a personal choice, fair enough, everyone's entitled to their opinion. But I'm of the opinion that you can never have too many good players. And I think Wayne Rooney enhances an Everton side, and I still think he'd enhance an Everton side. I still think
at 31, 32, he'd still have enough about him to come and play for this club. And, you know,
look, we had Marcus Bent and people like this playing for us. You know, we've got a Rooney Kone at the moment at 32 nearly. So if someone's telling me Wayne Rooney wouldn't do a better job than Kone, then I haven't got a clue about football.
Well, we asked you on Twitter what you thought anyway. First of all, Mark Rimmer said to me, I wouldn't have him back. His wages would be a problem. But I must say, what a win against United on Sunday. Fair enough. Matty James says, yes, but if it's not just to see out his final days, he either comes back young, good enough, or not at all. I think that's what we're both saying. Alexander Rigby says, all day long, it wouldn't surprise me if it was soon, to be honest. Van Gaal would rid all three of them. John Mello says, that ship has sailed now. He's on a long £250,000 a week contract. Well, it's not going to last forever. It's not that long.
It's not long now in football, John.
Glenn Ryan says, every day of the week, we would love to see him in a blue shirt again. Paul Daly says, yes, but don't see it happening, sadly. Big Dave 1878 says, can't see him doing it while he's young and relevant. Too much money would be lost for the wage limit. Paul McAllister says, when he's old, slow and had another transplant, no tar. Fair enough. Luke Connor says, if he shows that he wants to come back, then by all means. Duke Silver says, Christ, can you imagine who and what we'd have to sell to afford them to be playing on a park? Well, that's the other point, I suppose, isn't it? A lot of people would say if he was going to come, there might be a sacrifice involved, you know, one of our younger players, maybe.
Kone.
But do you know what? The reality is there's going to be a sacrifice somewhere down the line anyway. So
I think, look, I don't think we're talking about this summer, are we? I don't think we're talking about banging on Lou Van Gaal's door in the summer and saying, like, there's 30 million for Wayne Rooney. I don't think that wouldn't happen, but if you're talking kind of 15 months time, when he's 30 and he's only got a year, maybe 2 years left on a United deal, and they're looking for new, hungry young strikers, then why not? Why not? There'll be a compromise somewhere along the line.
Mickey FC says, no, he's a something or other beginning with C. Mark Reese Davis says, not on his current or 50% of his salary, and would he replace Ross? Rather keep Barkley than see out the painful end of Rooney's career. That's an interesting one, that, because I think if you kept Ross and Everton could bring Wayne Rooney, I think that'd be an interesting dynamic. I think Ross would learn a hell of a lot from Wayne Rooney on everything about football, not just the playing side.
They'd be fantastic to see them together, but he'd be saying to Ross though, yeah, I moved. There's that bit of advice, go and do the same. I don't know, I think, look, that's dream real stuff, isn't it, to have him and Barkley in the same side for us, but I don't think that, I couldn't see that happening personally. But
sorry, this one just caught my eye. The Zentertainer on Twitter, boss name, says on £200,000 a week, no, although the Rukaka strike force is mouth-watering.
That'd be good.
That's an interesting. And he says also, the amount of merchandise that could be sold will be worth millions. There you go. There's someone who's forward-thinking.
James merchandise and millions.
James Wearing says he is also slower than death now, in my opinion. Well, how many goals has he scored this season? So he's still scoring quite a lot of goals, isn't he?
Slow? Nah.
No, still scores a lot of goals. Stephen Lewis says if he wanted to come back, he would have just run down his contract rather than signing a new one. That's what we've already said. And we did get a little bit excited about 18 months ago about the prospect of him coming back. But maybe this long contract now would just give him just that extra little bit of cash that he could come back, maybe. Thomas Regan says he'd cost too much, and at the end of his career might not be as effective as he is now. Imagine having Rooney and Lukaku up front though, with Ross Barkley just behind. It's all ifs and buts and maybes, isn't it? That's the unfortunate part. Jonathan Dunn says it's more likely that he would buy Everton than Everton buy Wayne Rooney.
There is that.
Goodison Fall says yes, but not at 33-34. I can't see it happening. He would probably be back as a fan, but that's about it. Chris Jackson says he'll never wear Everton shirt again competitively. Wear far too much to his agent. A couple more. Scouse 87 says he's the best English player, so why wouldn't we? Doubt he will happen though, to be honest. He wouldn't moan if it did. Joe Morgan says money wouldn't be a problem. He'd take a pay cut. I'd love to see him back. Les Roberts, friend of the show, Les Roberts said, I said no after he took a new contract ambassador role at Man United, but I think the move would benefit both him and us. Mark McGee says, too right, I would. It'd be great for both him and Everton. Dave Foster says, no, he's finished. Only one man I want to see Everton sign in the summer, and that man is Deulofeu. Interesting. Kieran McNulty says, gives his best years to United, then gives us a novelty farewell, would reflect badly on us. Definitely no. That's an interesting one to finish off on that. Giving his best years to Manchester United. That's, as you mentioned, that's just football, isn't it? That is just football. At the time when he came through, he was the saviour at Everton, but then reality very quickly hit in football, and that's what football is now. There aren't these fairy tale stories, unfortunately, in football anymore. What
do we do? Because this is going to keep happening the way we are, and people can try and simplify it and say, well, it's dead easy, get rid of the board, get a new owner in, this won't happen. It will happen until we get a wealthy board, but it happens everywhere.
It happens everywhere, doesn't it? Unfortunately, this is the way of the world now.
Liverpool could lose Raheem Sterling this summer, for whatever reason. Manchester United lost Cristiano Ronaldo when they didn't want to lose him. So it happens in football all over the place, not just Everton. And it just depends on the scale, doesn't it?
And a lot of people will tell you that Wayne Rooney was sold by Everton, not necessarily Wayne Rooney leaving Everton. So it does happen. It does happen. Everton sold Rodwell, who was again seen as a saviour and all this, but we sold him for our reasons. We were happy to take the 12 million.
The Wayne Rooney thing when he was here was a very, very strange situation because he said the week before Man City tonked us 5-1 that his next ambition was to be the Everton captain. Then he went away with England and scored all them goals. But while he was away, and this story's well documented, Everton were reportedly hawking him around everywhere because that was a very difficult summer for Everton financially. And Trevor Birch, he was in at that time, was touting 50 million to Chelsea, and they were very interested. And
Trevor Birch joined the club, left the club very quickly, very quickly after reportedly it told the club that their only option was to sell Wayne Rooney if they wanted to.
Sell Wayne Rooney, get a new stadium, and dissolve the board, get new board members, and then was told to pack his bags.
So, and then that thing happened anyway. So,
the board wasn't dissolved.
No, but the way selling Wayne Rooney was. You can look at it whichever way you want, as you say. Maybe we'll never know the full story. You know, maybe.
Well, it's irrelevant now, isn't it? Because obviously we're here coming probably towards the end of his career. Still got 5 years left in him. I still think even a Wayne Rooney that hung around a penalty area at 33 would still score you goals. And he's got that natural ability. He knows how to finish. It's a lovely ball. Whether he can charge around like a lunatic all over the pitch, we don't need that. You just need someone who will get on the end of things in the box and make things happen. He's clever. He's a good player. And
be interesting to see next season. I think next summer, possibly could happen after the Euros.
We don't know what's going to happen this summer with Manchester United. They could have Van Gaal might. I'm not saying he'd sell him, but I'm saying Van Gaal might have a couple of strikers he wants to bring.
Yeah, and there's already rumours out there. I think not this summer. I think next summer's sort of that's going to be a big change in in football.
When we sell Lukaku?
There'll be a lot of movement around certain places, and I think because it's a big tournament and all those things, that all pays into it. That's
Rom will go and we'll get Rooney.
Could happen. Who knows? Let us know what you think. The comments underneath this video. Let us know also on Twitter at Toffee TV1. Let us know what you think about Wayne Rooney coming back to Everton Football Club. Moving on, Aston Villa away at the weekend. It's going to be a tough game. They're obviously flying. Beat Liverpool obviously in the FA Cup semi-final. They booked the trip to go back to Wembley to play in the FA Cup final. Did I say final or semi-final?
Final.
Yeah.
Is it the final?
No, they won the semi-final. They're in the final. Sorry, against Arsenal.
Are you sure? Because that's Stevie G's birthday, 30th birthday. I thought he was playing at Wembley.
Oh no, they've moved it. They've had to.
How's that?
No, they've actually physically moved the cup final to Stevie G's house now.
Oh, gosh, right.
So
because according to the media, that was.
They're flying. They're doing well. Very unfortunate to get beat by City the weekend. 2-0 down, brought it back to 2-2. Just didn't have enough. But Benteke's in fine form, and they'll be looking at this game and thinking, this is sort of that game.
This is the one.
That if they can get 3 points, that'll get them out of trouble. Because I think that's the mindset, isn't it? Win your home games, and
you've got to win your home games.
And the earlier you sort that out, you don't want to be going into the final few weeks of the season thinking, well, there's an FA Cup, but we can't even think about that yet till we're safe. So they'll be wanting to get it safe as soon as possible. So this is a massive game, and that might just help us, I think, coming into the game on Saturday. Again, all the pressure on them, no pressure on us. We can go, enjoy it, play the way we've been playing. We've only conceded, 2 in the last six games. So from that point of view, we're a lot better. Go there and have the freedom to go and, hopefully get 3 points.
Yeah, counter-attack again, isn't it? We went to QPR the other week and it was a similar kind of feel for them. They've got home games, they needed to win, and we managed that game quite well. I think Benteke's obviously will cause us problems because he's a good player. I think Villa, I watched the City game on Saturday night, well, the most of it. I think Villa had Joe Hart to thank for the fact that they got back in the game with 2 horrible mistakes, but they plugged away, they kept plugging away, and they looked quite dangerous. And Sherwood's got them fired up. He wears that gillet and has a go of everything else, and talks like he's the greatest manager to ever walk the planet. So fair play to him for having that kind of view of yourself. But he's got them playing a little bit better. Be a tough game for us because like I say, they've got good runners, they've got good legs in there, you know, Cleverly's in it, Delph's got, you know, gets good engine, gets about the pitch, and having Benteke, someone who's a real physical presence, can cause you problems, but they're also coming into a game against Everton. I think 6 weeks ago they'd have been rubbing their hands together, but this is a dangerous game for them, because you're saying if they win, that should be it for them. But they'd only have about 34 points, I think, if they win.
Yeah.
35. Newcastle are in dire straits on 35. I think Leicester City are flying. Hull, you know, have got games coming up, home games, even though they've got very difficult games. So it is tight for them. They've got to win. Saturday will, like you say, they'll have a look at that and think, you know, this is a great chance. Everton, from their perspective, they probably look and think, Everton are set, you know, Everton have got nothing really to play for, and they've been on a good run. You know, they're not going to have the fight in the belly. And hopefully we will have that fire in the belly to keep it going. It'll be a tight game, a tough game, but hopefully we'll keep it going.
The game against Manchester United proved that the players are still up for it, the manager's still up for it.
I think it's easier here doing that.
Yeah.
Down there against a team that needs a result.
But we'll have a brilliant following again, as we always do away games. Villa's one of the good away games as well. It's not too far as well, and I think it's set up for us to just sneak this, just to get it on. You know, again, just sneak a couple of goals on the break. You know, it'll be billed as Benteke versus Lukaku, and it'll, you know, I do think it might come down to who takes the chances from those two players. But I fancy it, because I just don't think there's any pressure on us. And I think if we can take the lead, get 1-0 up, and the pressure suddenly falls back on their shoulders, because it's all right playing that way. But if you're not necessarily picking up the points, you know, then, and the games are running out, then you do start getting a little bit worried, and you go back into old habits as well. You know, it's all like, you know, we've been playing this boss expansive football, but then those mistakes start creeping into your game, and we don't really have to worry about that too much, and that's why I think the pressure's off for us, and we can relax and get on with the way we've been playing. So I'm confident in this one. I think we can go down here, and I think the first goal will be the big one, like, because I think if they get it, then the momentum will be behind them to go and get the second one. Then if we get it, then we've got the momentum, haven't we? And I just think we can force them into those mistakes and hopefully get the 3 points. So I'm going for a 2-1 win for Everton.
Yeah, I'm going to go with you this week. I'm going to go
positive.
with it.
We're positive.
Yeah, I think it's a tough one, but I think we'll nick it 2-1.
I think we can just nick it. I think there's no pressure on us. That's the main thing.
The way to look at it, even a draw, is an acceptable result. That'd take us to what we have.
The battle to stay in the top 10 of the Premier League. Come on, the battle to keep Tom Cleverly's soul. That's what it should come. That's what this game should. That's what it should be.
The Cleverly shootout. It could be called.
Oh, El Cleverly Co.
You just. You've been practicing that one?
Nope.
That hasn't just come to you.
It has. That's
just off the hard
off
cuff
the
there?
cuff there. I haven't even got cuffs.
You haven't even got us there.
That's how I work.
I like that. The Cleverly, you've got to use that. Maybe that's what the video should be called.
El Cleversico or something. I don't know. Whatever.
Don't ruin it. You said it.
No, don't ruin it. Don't indulge it. Don't indulge it. No, going for the win anyway. Good stuff. Listen. Get in touch with us at Toffee TV1 on Twitter. Make sure to leave your comments for this video as well on YouTube. And the other thing as well, do you know what? It gets boring just talking to Baz, and Baz probably feels the same about me. If you want to be a guest, if you want to come in, the wonderful Winslow, right? If you want to come in and be a guest on this show, let us know. Get in touch with us either on Twitter or email us. The email is toffeetv1@gmail.com. Now, obviously, if you live in Timbuktu or somewhere, then you're screwed. But obviously, if you live in the Liverpool area and you can come to Windsor on a Monday around 5:30, then come in and be a guest and we'll get you in.
And you get to meet Gene Wilder.
You do. Willy Wonka behind the camera there. We've got Diet Coke and McCoy's on tap as well, which is the selling point. So if you want to come in and be a guest, by all means, drop us a line and get involved and we'll get you on the show. Simple as that. We'd love to have any of you on. As long as you don't swear or say anything that'll get us into trouble libelously, then we're happy to have you on. Let us know. We're going to get all the cranks now, aren't we? I don't know. Right. From Baz and myself, Ped, in the lovely Winslow. We'll speak to you soon.